So you've just watched Batman drive the Batmobile through an explosion, flip a man's car upside down on a highway, and walk out of the fire like a demon in a cape. And now, Penguin is zip-tied, dragged to the side of the road, being interrogated by a tired cop and a lunatic in a Halloween costume. This scene shouldn't work as well as it does. 3 guys standing in the rain talking. No punches, no gadgets, no explosions. Yet your brain was more locked in during this conversation than the entire car chase that came before it. Here's why. The second Penguin opens his mouth, your brain makes a snap decision about him, and it's dead wrong. He calls it good cop, batshit cop, which, by the way, is not a real interrogation strategy. We checked. Penguin cracks jokes under pressure, acts indignant, sees a photo of a mutilated corpse, and reacts like someone just showed him a bad Yelp review.
Face.
Holy God, what are you showing me?
His head.
Come on!
Open your eyes!
And something dangerous happens in your head. You start liking him. You start quietly rooting for the mob boss to outsmart the hero. That's not an accident. That's the defiance heuristic at work. When someone resists authority, especially authority that feels aggressive or unfair, your brain automatically hands them credibility. FBI research on interrogation psychology shows defiant suspects often look more trustworthy to observers, even when everyone knows they're guilty. Think about that. Your brain is wired to trust the guy who pushes back. And Colin Farrell's Penguin pushes back and grows harder on you than almost anyone in Batman movie history. Gordon and Batman are running textbook Reed technique, and he dismantles it in real time. The Reed technique is the most widely used interrogation method in American law enforcement, developed in the 1940s. 9 cold steps. First one, direct confrontation. Tell the suspect the evidence points straight at them. Sound familiar?
No habla español?
Step 2. Offer psychological excuses that make confessing feel like the easy way out. Step 3. Shut down every denial before it gains momentum. Batman and Gordon are hitting every mark. Evidence, photo, you're the rat. Huh, classic Reed. But here's what your brain noticed, even if you didn't consciously register it. Penguin never plays defense. He goes straight on offense. He corrects their Spanish cold. It's La Rata, not El Rata. Am I the only one here who knows the difference?
You are El Rata Alada.
You are El Rat that says that?
Why? You got something to tell us?
Yeah! It's like the worst Spanish I ever heard.
What?
It's La Rata. What is this, Riddler, stupid or something?
He redirects the accusation. A rat with wings? You know what that sounds like to me? A friggin' bat. And in that moment, your amygdala, the ancient threat detector in your brain, does something completely counterintuitive. It chills out. Penguin is zip-tied, outnumbered. He just survived a crash that should have killed him, but his energy screams zero fear. And when the suspect isn't afraid, your limbic system whispers, either he's innocent or he's more powerful than the people questioning him. A Canadian judge once ruled the Reed technique is, and I quote, a guilt-presumptive, confrontational, psychologically manipulative procedure whose purpose is to extract a confession. That's exactly what Gordon and Batman are running. And Penguin treats it like open mic night at a dive bar in Gotham. He's pulling off what psychologists call status inversion, taking a situation designed to crush him and flipping the entire power dynamic on its head. And your brain? Your brain can't look away, because it's trying to solve the same question Batman is asking in real time. Is this guy lying through his teeth? Or is he genuinely not afraid of the scariest man in Gotham? Let's break down exactly what happens next in that rain-soaked train yard, and why your brain quietly picked a side before you even realized it. Okay, so your brain picked a side during that scene, and it picked the wrong one, or the bad one. Let's talk about why. Because this isn't a you problem. This is a your brain is 65 million years old and ancient problem. When Penguin cracks jokes while zip-tied on the side of the road, something fires in your head called mirror neurons. These are the neurons that activate not just when you do something, but when you watch someone else do something. But here's what makes Penguin's performance so neurologically interesting. He's not playing one note. Watch closely.
That's why you killed the girl.
I didn't kill no girl.
That's real defensiveness. That's a man who feels accused and doesn't like it. Your brain reads that as honest, because guilty people who are faking it tend to go too calm, too controlled. Genuine indignation is messy, it's loud, and your brain trusts messy. But then, seconds later, he does this.
You are El Rata Alada.
You are El Rat that says that?
Why? You got something to tell us?
Yeah! Like the worst Spanish I ever heard.
What?
It's La Rata.
He flips, defensive 1 second, running the room the next, and your mirror neurons don't know which version to rehearse. Your brain is simultaneously simulating his anger and his confidence. It's running two contradictory programs at once. That's what makes you lean forward. Not calmness, not panic, the oscillation. Your nervous system cannot build a stable model of this person, and it desperately wants to. And here's the thing. Your brain does not care that he's a crime lord. Not during the scene. It cares about one thing and one thing only. Competence. And Penguin oozes it. This is the same reason people love mob movies. Nobody, and I mean nobody, walks out of Goodfellas rooting for the FBI. You root for Henry Hill. You root for Tommy. You root for the guys doing objectively terrible things because they do them with swagger. Your brain, during a scene, has the moral compass of a concussed golden retriever. It just goes toward whoever looks like they know what they're doing. And right now, Penguin looks like the most competent person standing in the rain. But it goes deeper than that. There's a phenomenon called the underdog effect. Researchers at the University of South Florida found that people instinctively root for whoever appears to be at a disadvantage, even when they know that person is guilty. Think about what Penguin's situation looks like from your brain's perspective. He's zip-tied, outnumbered 2-1, just got his car flipped upside down by a man dressed as a 6-foot bat who walked through fire to get to him. On paper, he's the underdog. Your brain doesn't care that he runs half the drug trade in Gotham. It sees the power imbalance. It sees someone being pressed by aggressive authority, and it picks a team. And here's the kicker. Batman knows this. Watch his body language during this scene. Really watch it.
El Rata. You are El.
He's not frustrated because Penguin is lying. He's frustrated because Penguin is winning. Not winning the interrogation, winning the room, winning Gordon, and flipping the entire case on its head.
Shithead, shut up! You think you made a mistake? He hasn't made mistakes.
It's a rat with wings.
Your brain is now doing something it does maybe 5 or 6 times during an entire 2.5-hour movie. It is genuinely uncertain about who is in control of the situation. And uncertainty, real uncertainty, not fake movie tension, is the single most addictive neurological state a filmmaker can put you in. Your dopamine system doesn't spike when you get an answer. It spikes when you almost get one, when the answer is right there, but you can't quite close it. That's the slot machine effect. That's why you can't stop scrolling. And that's exactly what this scene is doing to your brain right now. You're sitting there thinking, is Penguin guilty? Is he bluffing? Is he actually innocent? Does he know more than he's saying? Is he just built different? There's a reason they gave Colin Farrell his own standalone series, right? But here's where it gets really interesting. Because Batman and Gordon aren't just winging this interrogation. They're running a very specific, very real playbook. One that has broken thousands of laws and real-life psychopaths. And Penguin treats it like a joke. So we mentioned the read technique in the intro. Now let's talk about what it actually does to a normal human brain. Because what Penguin does in this scene is the exact opposite of what 95% of real suspects do under this method. And when I say 95%, I'm being generous to humanity. The Reed technique was developed in the 1940s by a former Chicago police officer named John E. Reed. It has 9 steps. Think of it less like an interrogation and more like a recipe for psychological collapse.
Purse snatching. Society's fault or one man's cry for help?
What are you talking about? I wanted her freaking money.
Step 1. Tell them you already know they did it. Present the evidence like the verdict is already in. The trial is a formality. You're just giving them a chance to explain. Step 2. Give them a story that makes confessing feel noble. Maybe it was an accident. Maybe you were provoked. Anyone in your position would have done the same thing. You're not asking if they did it. You're asking why they did it. Step 3. Every time they try to deny it, interrupt them. Cut them off. Redirect. The goal is to make silence feel safer than talking, and confession feel safer than silence. Steps 4 through 9 are variations of the same pressure. Tighten. Redirect. Tighten. Offer an emotional exit. Tighten. Get the confession. Now here's why this actually matters, and this isn't just trivia. The Reed technique has produced more false confessions than any interrogation method in American history. That's not my opinion. That's the Innocence Project. They've documented hundreds of cases where completely innocent people confessed to crimes they did not commit, including murder, because Reed broke them psychologically. The Central Park Five. 5 teenagers, interrogated for hours, confessed to a crime none of them committed, exposed in 2002 when the actual perpetrator confessed and DNA confirmed it. Brendan Dassey from Making a Murderer, a teenager with a documented learning disability, interrogated without a parent or lawyer present, led through a confession that didn't even match the crime scene evidence.
They got to my head.
These people weren't stupid. They weren't weak. Their brains just did what human brains do under sustained psychological pressure. They collapsed. They gave the interrogators whatever answer would make the pain stop. Now, re-watch Penguin.
You can talk about what they did to my partner's face.
Holy God, what are you showing me? His head. Come on! Open your eyes!
Gordon hits him with evidence. Batman looms in the shadows like a gargoyle who skipped dinner. They run the playbook perfectly. Step 1. It says you are El Rata Alada. Direct confrontation. We already know it's you. Step 2. The photo of the victim. Here's what happens when you don't cooperate. Implied threat. Step 3. Batman steps forward. Physical intimidation to shut down any denial. Classic Reed. Textbook. By the numbers. And Penguin's brain simply doesn't collapse. He doesn't freeze. He doesn't stammer. He doesn't go quiet. He doesn't ask for a lawyer, which, by the way, is what any innocent person in their right mind would do, and also what a smart, guilty person would do. It's the objectively correct move in any interrogation. Just shut up and lawyer up. But Penguin doesn't do that either, because asking for a lawyer is still a defensive move. It's still acknowledging that you're in danger. Instead, he does the one thing the Reed technique is not designed to handle. He makes the interrogators feel stupid.
Boy, you guys are a hell of a duet here.
Your brain registers this as dominance. Not innocence, not bluffing, dominance. And dominance in an interrogation room is so rare, so neurologically unexpected, that when your brain encounters it, it literally cannot categorize the person. Is he innocent? Is he powerful? Is he insane? All 3? None? That 3-way uncertainty is what keeps you glued to the screen. And it's about to get even weirder, because there's a trick Colin Farrell is doing with his voice in this scene that almost nobody has noticed. And it's manipulating your nervous system on a level you can't consciously detect. You can use this the next time you're in trouble, because there's a trick Colin Farrell is doing with his voice, teasing forward, and not for the reason you think. Okay, here's something nobody talks about with this scene, and it might be the most interesting part of this entire video. I need you to do something for me. Close your eyes. Not literally, you're watching a YouTube video, but just work with me here. Just listen to Penguin's voice. Not what he's saying, how he's saying it.
Boy, you guys are a hell of a duet here. Why'd you start harmonizing? There's only one problem with your little scenario, okay? I ain't no rat. You got any idea what Carmine Falcone do to me? How you just gotta talk?
No, he says you are El Rata Alada.
You are El Rat that says that?
Why? You got something to tell us?
Yeah! It's like the worst Spanish I ever heard.
What?
It's La Rata.
Notice anything? Your brain has a built-in lie detector. It runs automatically every time someone talks to you, and it's scanning for very specific things. Here's your cheat sheet. Next time you think someone's lying to you, watch for these. Eyes. Liars break eye contact more, but overcorrectors stare too hard. If someone is looking at you like they're trying to win a staring contest, that's just as suspicious. Hands. Nose rubs, neck scratches, covering the mouth. When your brain knows you're lying, it literally tries to block the words from coming out. Your hands betray you before your mouth does. Speed. Liars either speed up to get through the lie faster or slow way down to carefully build it. Either way, there's a gear shift that wasn't there before. Truthful people keep a steady pace because they're not constructing anything. They're just remembering. Fillers. Well, look, to be honest with you.
Let me be clear.
If someone starts a sentence with, to be honest with you, they are about to be absolutely dishonest with you. Pitch. When people get nervous, their vocal cords tighten. Pitch goes up. It's involuntary. You can fake calm words. You cannot fake calm vocal cords. Now, rewatch Penguin with all of that in your head.
You don't run it. You don't just work for Carmine Falcone. You work for them, too.
What are you, crazy?
That's why you killed the girl.
I didn't kill no girl.
We know she worked.
Even on our first watch, something felt off about who had authority in this scene. We just couldn't name it. Now we can. Penguin gives your brain nothing. No tells, no markers, no flags. Your subconscious lie detector scans him and returns inconclusive, does not compute. That's what's making this scene impossible to look away from. That's the trick. But here's the real question. Why did Matt Reeves put this scene here? Why, immediately after the most badass action sequence in the entire movie, does Batman get verbally pantsed by a guy in zip ties? Because it's the most important scene in the film, and your brain needed it, but not for the reason you think. So here's where we zoom out and talk about why Matt Reeves is a genius. And also, can we get The Batman 2 already? Seriously, I can't take the fake trailers anymore. Okay, let's focus here. Batman just did the most badass thing in the movie. The Batmobile chase, the explosion, walking through fire like it was a mild inconvenience. He is at peak power. He is, for exactly 90 seconds, the coolest character in the history of cinema. And the very next scene is him getting verbally outclassed by a fat guy in zip ties. This is not an accident. This is a narrative technique called competence deflation, and it's the single most important thing a writer can do after an action sequence. Here's why. Your brain adapts to stimulation. The car chase spiked your dopamine hard. You were locked in, adrenaline up, heart rate elevated. But dopamine doesn't sustain. It spikes and drops. And if the next scene tries to top the car chase, bigger explosion, faster chase, louder music, your brain goes, yeah, I've seen this. Diminishing returns. That's why bad action movies feel absolutely exhausting by the third act. They keep trying to escalate, and your brain keeps caring less. Reeves does the opposite. He puts Batman in a situation where every single superpower he has is useless. Punching Penguin doesn't get information. Intimidation doesn't work on a guy who grew up in Gotham's criminal underworld. The Batmobile means nothing when the fight is verbal. Might as well be made of Legos. Oh man, when's the last time we had a good Lego game? Anyway, your brain goes, oh, this hero can lose. Not physically, intellectually. And that reactivates your attention harder than any explosion could, because now the stakes feel real in a way that car chases can't communicate. If Batman can be outsmarted by a mid-level crime boss, then Gotham is dangerous in a way that no amount of body armor can fix. The threat isn't physical. The threat is that the people Batman is fighting might just be smarter than him. This is the exact same reason the Dark Knight's interrogation scene works.
Harvey Dent never made it home. Of course not. What have you done with him?
Me? I was right here. Who did you leave it with?
Heath Ledger's Joker and Colin Farrell's Penguin do the exact same thing to Batman's brain, and yours. They make his greatest weapon completely irrelevant. Batman's power is fear. That's the whole premise. Criminals are a cowardly, superstitious lot. The suit, the voice, the theatrics, it's all designed to terrify. The Joker wasn't afraid. Penguin isn't afraid. And when the weapon doesn't work, the hero is just a rich kid in a Halloween costume standing in the rain with no leverage. Your brain finds that terrifying. Not because Penguin or the Joker are physically threatening, but because they represent a category of problem that Batman cannot solve by being Batman. And that uncertainty, can the hero actually win, is what separates a good movie scene from a great one. Next time you watch this scene, and you will because your brain is already telling you to go rewatch it right now, pay attention to what your body is doing. Are your shoulders tense? Are you leaning forward? Are you smiling when Penguin lands a line, even though you know you shouldn't be? That's not just you enjoying a movie. That's your mirror neurons, your amygdala, your threat detection system, and 65 million years of primate processing all fighting each other in real time over a scene with 3 guys standing in the rain, talking. No explosions, no CGI, no fights. Just performance, writing, and a director who understood that the most dangerous thing you can do to an audience is make them uncertain about who's winning. That's better filmmaking than any explosion ever built. If your brain ever did something weird during a scene, you rooted for the villain, you felt anxious when you shouldn't have, you couldn't look away from something that logically shouldn't be interesting, subscribe and drop it in the comments. We might break it down next, because every scene does something to your brain. Most of the time, you just don't notice. Next time you will. Probably. If not, make sure you're subscribed.